And that's basically what it is. Just how far
Gamer going in there deep. He does manage to get the ultimate off, but the Rift Maker is going to block him right there, and he's going to get locked down. But the third Silver Bolt is going to pick him up a kill as he takes down Pink. Ready to root red in place. The Maokai ult's going to come down as well. That's going to be a huge fight in the Baron Pit. A nice tornado over the wall is going to allow them to pick up a kill. We do see that the rest of the members of RLS, though, on the backline, trying to pepper this. Red getting brought really low. Utility Monster has now joined that fight. Fusion is still full health as they are shredding through this tank right here, but unfortunately an ADC is designed to die, and that right there is going to be Fusion taken down.
Absolutely. This is not good for Kiri. Kiri, you're 2 levels behind, and Fusion's going to get away.
Utility Monster missing that knockup is actually going to be huge, but it's not going to matter as Tephra's going to be brought down almost instantaneously. We see Lilia going golden, does manage to stay alive. Pangu Soul is going to get absolutely crushed. Jeff God Gamer is just going insane. They do manage to get good pit control. However, it's not going to matter as Utility Soul does manage to take down Pangu Soul, so that's going to be Ari taken out of the fight. There's just too much tank, too much CC on the side of Yubi, and they just start shredding through the rest of the members of RLS. That is going to be them just getting picked off one by one. The wild growth on Jinx just wasn't enough. She's trying so hard to do damage, but isn't quite able to, and that is going to be game as Yubi manages to pick up the win. Hello, folks, and welcome back. Your friendly neighborhood Chatcaster here, Sharogin, joined by Found on the caster's desk. We have got Team Washed versus Trickle Down Economics to close off the day. And after that last game, which was a huge coin flip, like just went back and forth, I'm expecting this game to be a little bit more one-sided.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Trickle Down Economics has been a very, very good team, and Zenzen has managed to be one of the best top laners in the league again. And I've been really confident in them. I just got a little bit distracted about their little logo on the side. It's called Trickle Down Economics, but the arrow is pointing up and not down. I just thought that was weird. Had my own cringy moment, but
it's economics, so it'll basically reverse when it does the time jump.
So wait, does that mean Trickle Down Economics work, or does it doesn't work?
Well, we'll see. They've obviously been doing very, very well with it.
Okay, it works, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, I do want to say that Team Wash has definitely been putting up a great performance lately. Them and Pandas with Hats have both been the newcomer teams that have just come up and shown up and done a really good job. Looking at these bans, we've got an interesting choice of the Kale on the side of Team Wash to ban out for Trickle Down Economics. It may have something to do with whatever top lane choice they want. I do like the Victor ban because we have seen Victor be exceptionally powerful. And we have seen PJ Salt do a lot of work on the Urgot, and so that's a good ban on the side of TDE to make sure he doesn't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm really happy about the development of the league and all the stuff that we've been seeing, because now I finally get a chance where I can say I'm fans of players. And one of the players I'm a fan of is GodX Anime. I think this guy's been amazing so far. I've been constantly finding new angles into the jungle. Always interesting pathing. And I think this is one of the most creative pathing junglers we've had in the league so far. So I really hope that Team Wash can kind of utilize those strengths in the early game, that is something that they give you. And this is a new experience for me. Every team has somebody. I'm so excited to see every game.
Yeah, well, see, the same thing. You've got God and the power of God and anime on one side, but you've also got Leaves on the other. Leaves has just been absolutely crushing it. Both of these junglers have had insane amounts of lane presence with their jungle choices, just constantly ganking, constantly making themselves known, and just trying to push their teams ahead, even when their lanes were in a slightly inopportune position. They've somehow managed to make it work. I do like the response of picking up the Jinx right away on the side of TDE. There is absolutely no reason Jinx or Zeri should be going through on these top two picks. So I'm really kind of curious to see what it is Team Washed has up their sleeves in order to kind of counteract that. The Taric ultimate is definitely one option for keeping your team alive during those fights, though.
Yeah, and that's actually something I was going to bring up. I'm super surprised to see Taric taken so early in the pick. I mean, he's not really a contested pick. He's definitely one of the support champions we don't see very often. And just giving trickle-down economics Jinx seems like a draft detriment. I mean, you already see where trickle-down economics is headed. They have the Jinx. They have the Sign. Big, beefy frontliner. AoE, AD carry. I mean, Ashe is definitely a good answer. Barbiturate, I'm very thankful that this is something that they were ready to pull out, because this is the champion that has kind of been used to counter Jinx a little bit. I mean, it's very difficult for Jinx to lane, and slows are very difficult for AD carries to deal with often. So I do like Ashe as a little bit of a counter pack, and this is a lot of CC in the bot lane.
There's exceptional amount of CC in that bot lane right there. There is no movement if you get hit by
Ooh.
one stun, and you get knocked up by a Tahm Kench as well. You're literally not going to have anything to do during that fight because you're just going to be gone before the CC timer runs out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the game right now where looks like Team Wash is setting up for Wednesday the carry, because this is a very, very utility-focused bot side with the Ashe arrow, the slows from the auto attacks, Tahm Kench from being able to eat people and keep them safe, and having that extra innate tankiness from being in the top side and getting that extra CS. So I really, really am interested to see what Wednesday is going to take in this matchup, because it's going to be a lot on how big they can carry.
There we go. We got the Seraphine ban and the Sona pickup. My heart is so happy because the champ I hate is gone and the champ I love is here.
Sheridan is the weirdest person alive, and I've never seen someone be so excited about Sona, but I mean, it is definitely a very interesting champion to watch. Those shrouds are very underrated, and I think if Sona's still one of those champions that if she does manage to drag her way out of lane and not be super far behind, one of the best scaling supports in the game.
Very, very strong scaling support. My biggest love for her is that was actually the first champion I ever played. So there's a bit of a nostalgia factor there for Sona. But at the same time, I love the auras and what they bring to the table. I love this new ban on the side of Washed, because that was the one champion that Leaves was just an absolute terrifying monster on. Oh my god, it was just terrible to watch. Taking away Wednesday's Diana and Kassadin, though, is again another set of very good targeted bans. You're right, they're trying to set him up as the carry, so they're like, you know what, fine, you can try to set him up, but we're not going to let him get the carry chance.
Yeah, Kassadin being taken away, just preventing that counter pick. I mean, this does kind of indicate that Mizuza is going to be taking the mid lane pick fourth, and Diana is just the fastest clearing jungler in the game. And Team Wash does need a lot of damage to come in. Like, their jungle mid needs to be a very high damage duo. They have very low DPS, and Ashe is not really the carry you pick if you want to have a lot of that damage come from your AD position. So I do like that Trickle Down Economics has recognized that. They understand that they don't want to allow another hyper carry scaling jungler like the Diana to be on the map. So this is very smart from them, and I'm very impressed to see how they're navigating their draft so far.
TDE opting instead to choose the counter pick mid lane choice. I think that that's a better idea for them, just because Mizuza can pick whatever they're most comfortable into whatever Team Wash decides to pull out. We do see the Kayn pick up, again, a very powerful roaming jungler for Leaves that's going to allow him to, again, have all the lane presence he absolutely wants. This Lissandra pickup is going to provide, again, Team Wash is basically CC the game. Like, they are literally out to make it to where Trickle Down does not get a chance to play a single second of this game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There we go. Okay, so there's some damage coming in. Godx Anime taking the Kindred. Well, the old Kindred Spirits coming out. I mean, there needed to be some more somewhere. I mean, this was a very, very low damage composition with Lissandra coming out. I mean, Lissandra's a burst mage. I mean, there is literally no way to kill Sion with the way they had drafted so far. But now all your damage that is going to be killing the Sion is AD, and Sion does love to build those armor items. So I think Trickle Down Economics really did navigate this draft and kind of pinch Team Wash in a corner where it's kind of dive the Jinx or bust.
Yep, pretty much. Team Wash has, or in some ways, Team Wash has picked survival the game, where they just want to go for the chip damage from the Ashe. But you've got the Kindred ultimate to keep everybody alive. You've got the Lissandra Frozen Tomb to seal off a carry who's trying to dive. You got the Terra ulti. So I do see that we're going to probably see Kindred and Ashe being good sources of damage. This Cassiopeia pickup is going to be fantastic, though, because Team Wash wants to kind of face check and they want to kind of go in. Cass is just going to shut that down completely.
Yeah, absolutely. More DPS, more kite, more peel. This is going to punish any of that hard engage. And now, this is a kind of a weird situation, because when you look at both team comps, how they want to effectively play fights, both Team Wash and both Trickle Down Economics, they both want to kite back. They both don't want to be diving very heavily into the enemy team because they split very fast. So I mean, this is going to be a lot on Zen, a lot on PJ Salt to see how these two navigate these top laners, because I think this is going to be a type of game where the biggest tank is going to be the carry.
It's going to be really, really interesting to watch. I do like the good luck, have fun from Zen Zen popping up before the chat disappears. So we do have that Wednesday and the rest of Wash right there hiding out, looking for that invade. Not exactly something TDE wants to do with their current comp, though. So I expect this early game to be much slower and much less explosive in comparison to the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with this is always kind of what you expect when you see the Kindred. But I mean, Kindred is definitely jungle hard mode. She's a champion that requires a lot of jungle. I'm sorry, of jungle knowledge, making sure your pathing is going to be on point because you can fall very, very far behind to a Kane. Kane farms way faster than you. So if you're not pressuring him, if you're not finding openings on the map where you're forcing the Kane to come out of his jungle, this is going to be really difficult for God X Anime to navigate this, but they also have one of the most interesting team compositions I've seen in a while when it comes to team fighting, because when that ultimate for Kindred goes down, that basically guarantees that they're going to be invulnerable immediately after if they want to layer those two ultimates with that with the Taric ultimate on top of it. So I really want to see how that is going to work out because the resets are going to come through if Wednesday does manage to pick up some kills after that.
I do like Bob Joseph sitting off to the side here, looking to get that double Q proc. Good choice right there, getting some decent, like, starting off poke, but unfortunately getting the same amount back. Johnny Tsunami kind of missing that first stun, but I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, Ashe is a good enough laner where she can kind of lane 2v1 for the majority of the laning phase, and that's kind of where Taric wants to be. He doesn't want to be very interactive early on. I'm honestly interested if I actually am not very up on Taric and his build order or where he tends to go. So I'm actually wondering if he's going to go like a tier option or try to be more of a sustained tank later into the game because he's a champion that we see so rarely unless he is picked.
He used to be, again, when we were talking about the Ardent Sensor meta, used to be an exceptionally popular choice then. Now, not quite as much. We do see that he's opted for the Guardian build rather than the Glacial Augment. So I do expect we'll be seeing a little bit more of a defensive Taric, probably going to a Locket early on, is what I would expect out of Johnny Tsunami.
Yep, absolutely. And very standard paths coming out for these junglers. God X Anime heading up to this top side, Leaves heading to the bot side. I mean, they're just probably going to be here to cover the push that Ultra is already going for. So this is where they want to be in this lane. Really smart on Ultra and Bob Jones and Bob to get this push off. Because now they're going to be able to have a lot of lane control on Barbitua and Johnny, and this is really harsh.
Already, as we glance topside, we can see Kindred is looking for that top lane gank, looking to get that first blood. The knockup from Tom Kench, though, is going to be completely wide, as we just see Zen kind of moseying on down. But in the meantime, in the bot lane, we got a fight breaking out as well. Johnny Tsunami trying to get a stun off, doesn't quite manage to get it. Mid lane fighting as well. It's basically fights breaking out across the map all at once. None of them really result in too big of a chunk down other than this bot lane fight, but it's just going to get healed right back up.
Oh, man, you never cease to impress me. You're a god. The camera on the complete opposite direction, you're still calling both fights. I don't know how. What happened there, but I mean, that is going to be the flash burned out from Zen Zen, so a little bit of pressure coming out on that end. And Leaves is already here bot side, and this wave is pushing in, so really good wave setup for Ultra and Bob.
Leaves loves this position right here. He's going to start coming through the wall. Right there, gets the nice slash, gets the slow off. That's going to be the Guardian proc once again, though, and that's going to be a huge shield. Barbitua's brought very, very low, though. They are going to manage to survive. There is no ignite on the side of that bot lane. There's a cleanse and a heal, so they don't quite have the kill pressure to finish off Barbitua in that fight.
Absolutely, and fantastic discipline on the side of Barbitua. He didn't feel pressure to use any summoner spells. He knows there's no CC that's going to lock him up. Walks it out slowly, saves your heal, saves your flash, use that pot to get back up into your LSP, and they actually come out of that with an HP advantage. So that is all on Barbitua and Johnny, just not being pressured on the gank and just instantly blowing everything.
HP and mana advantage. Sona is currently starving right now. She wants to try and do some damage, but isn't quite able to. Just going to have to mix some funky tunes in the background. But unfortunately, that's really all they can do at this point.
Yeah, this is a lane state that, while isn't winning for the side of the Ashe and Taric, is definitely tolerable. And when you consider how well they scale, I mean, the Taric specifically, if they manage to come out of this lane even CS with no real massive punishment, I mean, that's all you really can ask for this type of bot lane.
Oh, I would say that this is absolutely a win for Team Wash right now. This bot lane is definitely going in their favor. Ashe is being able to farm exceptionally safe, only down 7 CS, and they are going to be able to pick these up right here. So they are able to keep fairly even. Meantime, in this top lane, we've got Zen going in on getting jumped on by PJ Salt. I think this is, once again, going on the side of Wash. They're able to push Zen back. I'm kind of expecting a Hullbreaker Scion to come out this game because he's going to be a terrifying threat in those solo side lanes.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Scion is, Scion is a champion that has a very surprisingly overloaded kit. I mean, he just has so much built into him. A lot of wave clear, a lot of innate tankiness. He gets HP every time he kills a minion. Like, there's just a lot in Scion. So you see why he has all these different versatile strategies where he can even, run it down on purpose and still be useful. So, I mean,
there's a reason why inting Scion was a strategy for a while.
I mean, Riot didn't want it to be, but it's still there.
It's still the thing. I do like that we do see, while Washed is in some pretty good lane positions, TDE is in the dragon control position. They're looking at this Mountain Drake. That would be a really good pickup for them early because those extra resistances would just make them able to sustain for that much longer in these fights, which is exactly what Washed wants to do. They want to drag them out as long as possible.
Absolutely. Both these teams are ones that really do want this Mountain Drake and get it early. I mean, it looks like actually we're leaning in. This is going to be a trade onto Wednesday, taking a bunch of damage, nothing further. But yeah, this is going to be one of those games where Kayn is going to opt to go the blue Kayn variant. So definitely looking for those executes. Or it appears it could be either or yet still, I guess.
I could definitely see why they would want to go blue Kayn, just because the assassin would give them that much more damage. They'd be able to burst down their targets. However, I do feel like this is also a really good Rost game because if he gets that knock up, it's just going to make it that much easier for Sona to hit their charm, which is going to just lock them down even more. Kindred getting a nice flank right now coming around from the top side. We do see that the bot lane was pushed up just a little bit too much. GodX Anime getting some decent damage though. They aren't going to be able to pick up a kill. They're going to get brought down to half health for their trouble. And I think that is actually going to be in the favor of TDE because again, good discipline. No summoner spells were burned during that fight.
Yeah, both these AD carries just with balls of steel, not rushing, not feeling that they're going to be super pressured out. And you notice this bot lane has taken very defensive summoner spell uses with that heal and the cleanse being available. So very difficult to really pinch kills onto them. So it's going to be mostly if they can manage to use that pressure. And that is exactly what they're going to do. Very smart decision from Barbituate, Johnny, and GodX Anime to take this dragon. This is a really big one because this amount
I think it's going to be Hextol, by the way.
Are you guessing? Are we guessing? We're playing the guessing game. I love this.
I'm guessing
Hextol. All right. Okay, so it's Ocean. It can only be one of the other ones, so it's either Hexel or Cloud, right?
Hextol, Cloud, or Infernal.
Or Infernal. Okay, I'm going to go Infernal. I think it's going to be Infernal. I feel like this is going to be a fiery game.
It could be a very fiery game. Again, so good tapping by both of these junglers. So you mentioned the trade-off. They're like, okay, we can't get the gank on the bot, so we'll take our advantage here, get Drake. Meanwhile, Kayn is like, oh, they tried to gank my bot lane, took Drake. That's fine. I'm gonna get Rift.
Isn't it kind of weird that Hexel is like one of the most underutilized dragons in the game, but it's the rift that it creates is actually surprisingly powerful. There should be way more options. Yeah.
Yes, the map traversal is absolutely fantastic, and I think that's going to be one of the things that could really, really help both of these teams. It would allow them to move around the map because if you notice, they're relatively immobile on both sides. Not the only ones who's like super speedy would be the Kayn, and that's if they go blue Kayn, who can get around the map. He can basically avoid terrain. If the Hexel comes onto the play, though, that's going to allow everyone to traverse this map very, very easily and able to just kind of try and find those odd angles that will allow them to try and get these picks off. I also have a feeling we're not going to see a pick until like 15 minutes.
I mean, yeah. Well, this game is going to be very, very slow for the meantime. Quick question for you, Sherry. Will Riot ever bring back the Chemtake Dragon?
Well, did you like it? I liked the Chemtech Drake. I did. I thought it's the terrain it created with the invisibility zones was good. I do feel like its soul was a little bit on the difficult to balance side, which is why they're just like, you know what? Let's just take it and put in a champion, and then we only have to deal with one person using it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is Scion, and he's here, and he's gonna get right. Oh, good flash!
Nice ulti, good flash by GodX Anime in order to stop the charge off, but unfortunately, not enough damage to take the Scion down. I don't know. That was kind of like one of those really, really fun interactions, and I think was a really smart play by Godx Anime. But unfortunately, it's a Scion.
Yeah.
You can't really kill a Scion.
And they're gonna get punished a lot for doing it, because guess who's in the Godx Anime's jungle taking away some camps? That's gonna be Leaves. Headed in there, jacking the Wraith camp. The Wraith camp. I'm gonna be able to walk out. Oh, this is bad. If he takes,
he's already got Raptors. He's already going for Krugs. We do see him now kind of looping around, being like, you know what? Actually, this is a very gankable lane. I like this. We have the ultimate coming out from Johnny Tsunami. Very good early preemptive use of it. That means that there's going to be basically no damage dropped. Leaves is going to use most of their kit before they have an opportunity to do anything. The flash from Jinx does come out in order to avoid getting stunned. And then we see that Lissandra has come into the bot lane to try and give themselves some more advantage. Godx Anime as well coming to join this, turning this 3v3 into a 4v3. We do see Leaves thinking about backing off. He does have the empowered recall right now, so that is an advantage on his side. Good use of the control ward in order to basically shut down vision. So this is going to be kind of interesting to see exactly how these teams decide to break it off.
Absolutely. Good early usage of the ultimate from the Taric. Johnny being very smart, making sure that the Ashe stays very safe. And once again, no summoners needed to be burned.
No summoners. We do have a pincer, though, as Tahm Kench has come down from the top lane looking to get Mezuzah, but Mezuzah was already walking away. They're going for that Raptor camp, trying to deny the Kindred hunts. And again, these are some 4D chess playing teams.
Absolutely, and when she is not unable to get those hunts, like the difference between a 4-stack Kindred and 3-stack Kindred is massive, and them being able to punish her and prevent those early stacks from going over. I mean, it's already going to be difficult enough with how fast Kayn clears the jungle when you're trying to counter jungle Kayn. So, I mean, we really just gotta pray for Godx Anime that he's going to manage to get some of these ganks off and get some stacks that way.
He's got to try and get some kills somewhere. Both these teams playing so safe, though, is just making it that much harder. Yeah, you're right. We do have Drake coming up here in about a minute, so that's going to be a nice objective to play around. Rift Herald is still available to drop. We do have the ultimate coming down as PJ Salt's getting knocked up, and we may be seeing his first blood right here. PJ Salt is going to get ulted by Kayn, jumping inside, and he's going to get absolutely shredded to pieces by that scythe. And first blood going over at 12 minutes 38 seconds, so I was about 2.5 minutes off. Not too far off, though. And that is going to be Rift dropped in the top lane. Nice chunk of gold going over to the side of TDE.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I cannot wait until the day where we start keeping stats and thinking that might have been one of the later first bloods we've had.
We've started keeping stats. We've got a whole bunch. You just got to check out the Jeff stats page in the Jeff Fact in the FOF Connect.
Oh, okay. I'm failing in doing my job as a color caster. I need to get my updated on my stats, make sure I have my notebook out ready for when the games start, because I mean, this is just one of those plays. Leaves getting another early gank off. Really well done. 13 minutes on the clock.
I feel like Ultravox was trolling his jungler there for just a second.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
Yep.
This isn't trolling, so they're going to grab this dragon.
Unfortunately, they do stop their back. They are not going for this Drake quickly enough. And that is going to be the Drake going down, and now we have the Hex Drake coming onto the field. Unfortunately, Kindred's going to have to ulti in order to stay alive as they got caught out, and there's nowhere for them to go. They're trying to find an angle to escape, but they are unable to do it. Ultravox picking up the skill as the power of God in anime is not enough. Run from Johnny Tsunami in order to stop the continued push by this bot lane as they're trying to look for a flank. Ultimate from the Ash Arrow coming out. We do have the ultimate coming out from Taric, but unfortunately it's not on a friendly target, so only he's going to be kept invincible. Lots of damage, though, coming out from the side of TDE, but unfortunately a lot of mana has been burned.
Yeah, and that's a really aggressive fight from the side of Barbitua and Johnny. I mean, you're taking it, and they know Kayn was just there on the bot side. They just saw him on the thing, so they all will be forced to be pressured off. And now they're so low under tower, they're going to be in dive range for quite a long time and just kind of hoping that Kayn doesn't come back.
Yeah, with the Sona ultimate being down and the mana being so low for Jinx, though, I don't expect too much right there. Mezuzah coming up to this top lane, trying to slow down PJ Salt, trying to get some damage off onto that Tahm Kench. Not quite able to do it. Does mean that the rest of Team Washed is going to be coming up from this bot side. So with that, I do feel like Washed is still in a very good position, even though they're behind 2k gold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And give Ultra some credit, man. 30 CS up in the bot side, or actually, I'm sorry, 22, but still a big opening. But, and you know, this is something that we really need. I want everyone, we all need to do better at highlighting these players when they're doing something very good and when they are doing something that is atypical from what some of the other AD carries in the league are doing. This is opening a pretty decent CS advantage. Ultra showing some lane dominance here, and I think
Well,
they
if you
played
want to
this
show
lane
off the
very
CS,
well.
look at Mezuzah.
Oh man. Well, that's another one. There's multiple ones. The laning phases are overall have been very, very good for the side of
Both sides. Both sides have been doing very, very well. They've had good opportunities in order to kind of keep themselves ahead.
I don't know. I got tongue tied. It's trickle down economics. That is what it is. Trickle down economics.
Economics. Yes.
Economics, not economics. Echo. When will they play Echo? We should bug Mezuzah about that sometime. That's the plan. We'll ask them.
Yeah. So with that, I feel like Echo might have been a fun choice to pick up here. I do like that we've already got the first turret down by Zen taking down the top lane turret. That's going to open up his lane so much, and we're basically going to start to see this Scion just becoming a huge annoyance is the best way to describe it. He's just going to be a thorn in the side of Team Washed as he's just going to keep pushing his lanes.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And the goal lead is just spread over basically everyone. Basically, all of them are ahead of their lane opponents. And this is already kind of at the point of the Scion where I got to ask you the question: who's really going to kill Scion at this point?
I do think that we'll probably be seeing the Kindred. Good use of the cleanse in order to keep getting ganked by this 4-man bot lane that's just coming in right now. But unfortunately, they don't know that right there. Ultravox is going to get a huge amount of power jumped right on top of him. They're kept alive for a very long time, but not quite long enough. We do see that Leaves is trying to help out his laner, isn't quite able to do it. Lots of damage coming out from the side of TDE.
Oh, beautiful.
Huge ultimate coming out from Cassiopeia, but unfortunately only manages to stun one member, and that is going to be Cassie taken down. And then we see Lissandra going for this tower dive. Godx Anime doesn't have the ultimate available to keep his teammates alive, so they aren't able to push in too deep. And so that is going to be a 0 for 2 on the side of Team Wash, and that is going to be bot lane turret getting absolutely demolished as unfortunately TDE overstays their welcome. We do see this chase is continuing, but unfortunately for Wash, they aren't going to be chasing down too much. So I do see Sona sticking around for a little bit longer than they probably should.
Yeah, absolutely, but still well done. And that's a stack picked up for the side of the Kindred. I'm actually wondering how many she's at the moment, but this is the transform from the Kayn, and it's going to be Ross. So goodbye, Kayn. Ross is here. And I do like that decision, getting that more bruiser avenue in. And this is 3 stacks for the Kindred. So only one more before she gets that massive power spike. And you got to be careful. Feeding Kindred stacks is really, really dangerous, especially for your tank line who's going to have to survive her hitting them.
Exactly, which is one of the reasons why I think going for the Rost is a much better choice than Blue Kayn, because that's going to allow a better front line in order to protect Ultravox, because as we saw right there, Washed has the ability to basically just jump on top of them and crush them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. And with you know that Godx Anime is going to be the main carry of this game. Leaves is going to get it red.
Getting a little spicy. They're going to get hit by the stun, but that is going to be a huge Sona ultimate as the Crescendo does manage to find 3 members of Team Wash, but unfortunately they just don't have the damage follow-up as the Ultravox doesn't come in from behind, but they do manage to catch up. They're getting excited from a distance, and that is going to be a huge amount of kills. 4 going over for the side of TDE. This could be 5 as the Tom Kench decided to TP down in probably the most inopportune moment.
Ooh, what a mouthful. But that is going to be the winning fight yet again. Good job for everybody on the side. There was so much damage that come out. And even though he died, you got to give the big credit to Mezuzah for getting another good Cassio ultimate, stunning everybody up, getting the shutdown onto the Lissandra. And I mean, this is just Cassio putting out tons of damage. It looked like the Jinx did a bunch of it, but that was everybody just sitting onto the poison.
Yeah, that was just devastating to see their health bars drop so low so quickly, and it did allow Jinx to get excited, getting that assist from the back, catching up in time. So now with that huge push, taking the Hextech break down, does allow for TDE to basically just extend this gold lead even more. They are just doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the gold allocation is just not really where you want TDE. TDE is happy where their gold allocation is, but this is just one of those situations where Lissandra having all the kills is kind of detrimental. You would love those kills to be on Godx Anime, but I do expect the burst to be going heavy. This is something I'm guessing that's going to be a Void Staff next, so the one shot is something that Wednesday is looking for. And now we are at the big marker with Godx Anime grinding his 4th stack, so hopefully he's going to be able to do a lot of that. The power of God and Anime is fully unlocked.
It is definitely he's definitely going to have a nice big boost to his attack speed and the damage in general in the range. With the thing is though, if TDE manages to pick up the Hextech Soul, the passive that it will provide is just going to be so useful for Jinx to be putting out because of their attack speed.
Oh, absolutely. The AoE static shiv, you can't ask for anything more for that for a Jinx. And, you know, I do want to give credit where it's due. Once again, Fam was wrong, and once again, Sheridan was right, as this is happening again.
Mizuza getting brought exceptionally low. That is a huge ultimate coming out as Mizuza does manage to stone face 2 members of Team Wash. That is going to be the double ultimates drop, the invincibility and the healing from Kindred. That is going to be the Ash Arrow coming down as well, managing to get the stun off as poor Rost is going to get locked into place, but it's not going to matter as Lissandra is going to be shut down. Ultravox showing why Jinx is one of the most feared ADCs in the meta right now. Just look at that range. Look how much damage they're doing. They don't quite manage to catch GodX Anime though, but that is going to leave the Baron available already. That is going to be a 20-minute Baron call for TDE. That is going to be massive.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, FOF chat, you know, we're all going to do this together and just petition Riot to remove Lethal Tempo from the game immediately, because Jinx is hitting everybody from basically across the map, getting excited once again. I mean, Ultra has played a fantastic game so far, not only in the laning phase, maintaining a CS advantage, but constantly staying safe. I mean, this Jinx has never really been pressured at any point, dodging the Lissandra damage and being that main focal point, and Mizuza just dishing out everything that she got in the back pocket and then dipping. So I really, both these carries have just been playing a fantastic game.
They have been doing a very, very, very good job. And now that we have the Baron already taken off the map, that is going to be a massive amount of push coming up from TDE. They're going to be pressuring these side lanes, trying to crack open this mid lane and bot lane finally. In the meantime, the top lane Sion, he's probably just going to keep doing his thing, push down that turret as best he can. We do not see a hole breaker, surprisingly enough. He opted to go Fimbulwinter instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fimbulwinter isn't the worst thing in the world. He understands the assignment. That's what we know. I mean, all he needs to do is just be as tanky as possible, and then when you know that you're really kind of being killed by the Ashe and Kindred, there's not really much threat over to, unless Lissandra was like massively far ahead and had a death cap in her back pocket, and you're really concerned about that extra tank stats. I really like the build that we're seeing so far.
Yeah, the devastating siege from a Baron empowered cannon minion is great. Don't you just love it? It sits outside of turret range and just peppers it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like when Cassio is at her strongest point, right? When you have to engage into her through Baron minions, it's always a devastating prospect, especially for a champion like Lissandra, where you can get ulted the second you pop out of your Glacial Crawl, and there's really nothing you can do about it because you cannot walk back after that transition. So, I mean, we're just going to see how much gold is going to be seeded over to trickle-down economics here, as they have managed to gain tank control, playing very patient, very smart, allowing the 1-3-1 to really do its work.
And in the bot lane, we do have Cassiopeia continuing this push. They are a very dangerous solo threat, so that allows the rest of TDE to basically just hover around mid lane in order to just keep this siege going. We do see the death ball occurring right now. A huge surge coming out. Sion ultimate coming out as well. It's going to be a nice double knockup. We got the Kindred ulti in order to keep everybody alive. Nice timing on the Taric ultimate just as the heal comes down. And that is going to be absolutely devastating, but it's not going to be enough as the sustain is just not on their side. The damage just rips through Team Washed.
Yeah, they can live, but they can't survive. I mean, this is too much damage coming in. You see Jinx is constantly peppering autos over the top, getting that AoE damage. And while all those ultimates for survivability makes them be able to last longer, I mean, you're just watching yourself until you can choose to win. You die immediately after. There's just not any damage that came through. No one was really pressured. And just everything came out, and there wasn't even any ultimates that came out from a lot of people, like PJ Salt and Wednesday.
And with that, we can clearly see that the coordinated efforts on the side of TDE are just allowing them to get a massive amount of gold out of this Baron. And so they're just getting so much use out of it. That's 4 turrets, I think, they managed to pick up.
4 turrets, a 4-for-0 team fight. I mean, the gold is just massive. We're already almost at 10K. This has exploded from 4,000, and now PJ Salt's going to try to take down Mizuza.
He's doing his best, but unfortunately that petrifying gaze means that they're just going to get absolutely stunned. The poison means that even if you eat the Cassiopeia. It's going to kill you, Tom Kench. You cannot make a meal out of a king cobra.
I mean, absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you don't mess with the snake. When the snake is fed, it will bite your head off extremely fast. I mean, that is a tank that just got shredded by the amount of damage that Cassio can be putting out. And then this is even worse. Look at Cassio. She hops back to base. This is the Death Cap that needlessly Raj and has 10 stacks on the Death Dark Seal. This is a extremely high AP champion, and she will just obliterate anybody she touches.
We do have bounties currently up for the side of Team Wash. Lots of pings coming out from the side of TDE as they definitely seem to want to push in to this top side. They're very aware that the Kindred is there.
Yeah, they want to make sure to prevent Kindred from getting any gold. They know Godix anime is going to be the main focal point. If there was a comeback, I mean, it's going to need to be through just a bunch of good autos by Godix anime, being very, very safe, Barbiturate landing an arrow on a priority target and bursting them out, really, because at this point, you're never going to win a 5v5. It needs to start off with a good pick.
Yep, and at this point, we can see that the Fimble Winter's approach has been completed. The Fimble Winter is in play. Tiamat has been picked up. This Scion is just a one-lane pushing machine, and he has AoE auto attacks, so it's just, in those team fights, it's going to be just so hard for him to be dealt with.
I mean, absolutely. This is Scion is one of the.
They're looking for that fight. They're ready for it. We see the Kindred ulti coming down. Asher from across from downtown. That's going to be a really long stun for the Scion. Scion still has ultimate available. They are going to be able to get a nice knockup right here. We do see Jinx in the background, though, just absolutely peppering Team Wash with these rockets. There's nothing they can do as they just sit in that bush, just kind of being like, poof, over the walls, and that is going to be an easy win and an easy pickup and a rampage for Ultravox.
Oh my god, quote of the day, poof, too good, as that is once again another fight. Ultra is just having a field day, getting all the damage out, as now Leaves is looking for a body of Wednesday and isn't going to grab it.
It's not Wednesday, my dudes, I'm sorry.
Oh my god, we don't play on Wednesdays.
We got a couple of days till hump day, unfortunately. That is going to be a very easy win pickup right now. We are going to see Wednesday try and do what they can. Come on, can you do it? Can you stop them? Unfortunately not, and that is going to be them getting taken down. And that is going to be the Nexus falling as well as Trickle Down Economics picks it up. Them and UB winning both of their games today.
Woo, I mean, hump day isn't coming this week. That's all I got to say. Really fantastic game. I mean, fantastic game from Trickle Down Economics. I mean, this team has been so impressive all around. I mean, they've won every single lane, and something that I have a really deep respect for, and this is exactly why FOF has been such an amazing league to be a part of and watch, is that these players are willing to bring out champions and perform on them that we don't see at the highest level. Cassiopeia is a champion that has been so good for so long, and she's just so difficult to execute that we don't see her very often. But Mizuza just put on a clinic of how to play the snake properly, and if we click over to the damage charts, I mean, we know that where the damage is coming from. Ultra, Mizuza, just pumping out damage into a team composition that had a lot of stuff to survive, but not a lot of stuff to kill.
And if the Riot client wasn't unfortunately doing its own thing and preventing us from seeing those stats, we will be posting kind of posting them around. They'll be passed around. We'll be able to see them. I do completely agree with you. There was a fantastic play from both of these teams. I mentioned it on the lounge, where while we are seeing these games be very one-sided, the opposing team does not give up, and they are looking for opportunities, looking for plays, and we saw that coming out from Wash. They were doing everything they could to try and get those picks, but unfortunately, Ultravox just got too far ahead. So with that, we'll be taking a quick break, and we'll be right back with an interview with our winners, Trickle Down Economics.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here with our final interview tonight, and I'm joined by the victorious Bob Joseph of Trickle Down Economics. So, welcome. How are you feeling after the win?
Feeling pretty good. We're able to close out that win, 27 minutes, so under our average game time, trying to push that stat even further down, even though we played a hyperscaling comp tonight.
Yeah, and lifts your win rate up to 80%. So, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about just the overall draft of this game. What were your thoughts on what you ended up against, especially with them pulling out the interesting double invulnerable Terra Kindred composition against you?
Yeah, so we were not expecting really any of this to happen. They first picked Tarek, and with a pick so not controversial, but just he sets the agenda of the game, right? So they picked one of the greediest characters immediately, which either you can try to play aggressively, which is what Tarek wants, or you can just play a greedier comp. So we picked the Sona, we picked the Jinx, we just picked Kite Back, Peel, Omega Tank, and they have nothing they can do into it.
I like that. So let's talk about how it ended up playing out. So as you say, you had a prescription to deal with what was coming up against you in the bot lane with the Tarek. How did it go for you folks in practice against the Tarek? What were your thoughts overall on how the tempo of the game played out? Especially, I noticed at a point there, Leaves was stuck waiting on a bit of gold, waiting on a bit of tempo for his Ross to come up.
Yeah, the entire game, Leaves is just spamming that he needs to gank bot and top lane so he can get red orbs. He gets blue transformation anyway, and then we just have to sort of sit around for an extra 5 minutes. In terms of laning phase, I just outranged Tarek, and he can never get onto me, and that's Sona's only weakness is being engaged on in the early game. Once I get to my first item, it's just unplayable for them. So basically checkmated in draft, honestly. My team played it even slower than we needed to. Like, obviously we outscale. We could take that game to 80 minutes and they would still be losing, but it's just like I have to I have to flash forward so my side realizes it's time to engage. So definitely a little slower than we probably should have played it.
Yeah, and looking over the items, who would win a team of 5 champions or 1 green Orby boy? The Oblivion Orb that you're able to pull out here was just absolutely helpful. Made them pretty brutal shutdown for a lot of the healing and the innate healing and items that they picked up. So let's take a bit of a wider step and look at, overall, as I said earlier, it's been 4.5 decisive games, let's say, but the standings reflect an 80% win rate with you folks at 4-1. I think that as we've seen you folks go on from the first game, it's become more and more crisp and clean, and showing the talents that you folks need to stay at the top of the league, especially the communication and the patience. What are your thoughts overall on how the team's developed since the first game?
Yeah, absolutely. In all of my games, I'm constantly yelling at my teammates to play better, and they started to play better. So it's been working out a lot. I think very clearly we're the best team in the league. The loss to UB was a fluke. And really, if you guys have been watching UB's games, nobody wins a UB game. Both teams just lose. UB just always comes back from 10k down, so both teams lose, really. So our loss against them doesn't really count, and we'll show next time that it won't even be close.
All right. Well, Bob Joseph, thank you so much for the interview. Before we step away, your opportunity, any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us on the desk?
I don't think there's anything except I need my teammates to start engaging.
As a support main, I hear your plea, brother. Let's hope. Folks, that's going to be it for us on this first day of the third week. We'll be back tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So we look forward to seeing you then for another day of games. And for all of us on staff, I want to say have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Scored 999 roses. Let's give him a big round of applause once again for the performance.